This is very dangerous. You can have oversight hearings all you like, but you've determined Amazon is a piece of crap company. That's your political bias. They're subject to the laws of the United States. They shouldn't be subject to this. If we get the committee back, we're not going to do this. This is a heavy-handed approach, the most radical agenda in my lifetime. And it should be carried out at the ballot box, and it will be.
Well, first off, I want to address Mr. Graham. First off, it sounded like you was talking about more of the companies and the businesses in your speech, but you forgot that the people are the ones who make these companies operate. And if we're not protected, and if the process for when we hold these companies accountable is not working for us, then that's the reason why we're here today.
And that, of course, is Christian Smalls, president of the Amazon labor union, testifying before Congress yesterday. And I'm gonna keep it real. I had not actually watched the beginning of that clip before. When Lindsey Graham performally lost, you're acting like it's a piece of crap company. I almost spit out my coffee on the camera. Calm down, Lindsey. I get it. You love corporations. You don't care about workers. He was very honest there. Lindsey was. If we take over this committee, we're not gonna be doing this. There is not gonna be any oversight whatsoever of any corporations. And you workers who very briefly are having your opinions actually considered, it is not gonna happen if we take over again. Well, don't worry, Lindsey, we trust you. But we wanna give a little bit more time to Christian Smalls there to respond to what Lindsey was saying. Let's jump into this.
That it's in your best interest to realize that it's not a left or right thing. It's not a Democrat or a Republican thing. It's a workers thing. It's a workers issue. And we're the ones that are suffering in the corporations that you're talking about, in the businesses that you're talking about, in the warehouses that you're talking about. So that's the reason why I think I was invited today to speak on that behalf. And you should listen because we do represent your constituents as well. So just take that into consideration that the people are the ones that make these corporations go. It's not the other way around.
Oh, so I could not agree with what Christian Smalls says there more. And that's like the core thing that over the last year or so, we here at the Damage Report and generally at TYT, I would say, have been trying to get through to them. They try to make all of this a partisan thing, left, right. And they do that in part to hide the fact that the right, which loves to pretend in very vague terms that they're the ones who are going to deliver for their constituents. That's not actually true. Christian Smalls is totally right there. Workers deserve respect, and more importantly, they deserve to be compensated fairly and protected in terms of regulations of how their workplaces exist. Whether they're like Democrats or Republicans, leftists, conservatives, there are a lot of conservative workers who are being treated horribly by their bosses, by their corporations, and the right doesn't care. They distract them from that. They try to delude them into thinking that that's not worth addressing through their focus on CRT and all that stuff, JR. And so I love that Christian Smalls fought against the narrative that Lindsey Graham was trying to spread in that video.
Well, I'm not sure how Lindsey Graham feels that you can say things like this as a senator and not expect that kind of pushback. It's because the narrative has been pushed so many times and we just accept it. Hey, so the Republican Party is literally against workers' rights. Straight up, he's saying it. And he says it because he thinks he sees this black dude from New York who has the accent and thinks he's not very smart, that we'll just trample all over you and say, how dare you call Amazon a piece of crap company? Guarantee you, if Amazon decides to do something that conservatives don't like, guess who's gonna call it a piece of crap company? They're calling Disney a piece of crap company. Others that have called Disney a piece of crap company before they opposed these things against trans kids and actually kids talking about who they are in their lives and maybe their parents. Now Disney's a piece of crap company. But this is the one glimpse into what Republicans will be looking for as legislators. They keep telling us what they would do when they're back in power. We're not gonna do oversight, you mentioned that stuff. This is their legislative agenda, to attack workers and real people who push companies along. They really think that these companies, that Jeff Bezos walks his ass in there every day and does all this work. No, they do these types of things and they suppress their work so they can continue to do it because they think they're expendable. We can get the next guy and the next guy and the next guy because we don't give you enough to make it feel like there's something that you can take to advance your career here. And once people are done with it, they're like, "Oh, we got the next guy." There's plenty of poor folks for us to choose from. That's their agenda, but they just don't want to explicitly say it. And once Chris Smalls pushed back, what did Lindsey Graham have to say? I mean, I'm not sure if he said anything after, but as he's talking, it's head nodding and, man, this guy is smarter than I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe he's just been, I don't know, believing what he's heard on Fox News. But I'm glad that you brought up Disney there, because look at what the two sides are focusing on in terms of corporations. And by the way, what I'm gonna say is the left side is not the Democrats. They're not focusing on anything. But like the labor movement on the left is trying to fight for workers' rights, compensation, those sorts of things from some of the biggest corporations in the country right now. Amazon, Starbucks are two of the most out front, but there's a lot of other movements going on saying we deserve to be paid better, we deserve to be protected, there is still a pandemic, you're overworking us, benefits, all that stuff. And on the right, it's Disney wants to have gay kisses. Seriously, like this is what they're choosing to focus on, and we should mock that. There are so many conservative workers that it is going to be hard to get through to get them to understand, as we say constantly, that we have their economic interests at heart in a way that conservatives literally never will because they're being paid not to. It is so hard to get through to them, but we have to try. We're the ones that want them to be paid, that want them to be able to retire with dignity, that want them to be able to own their own home and send their kids to college and not face bankruptcy at the first $500 economic issue that they face, or medical bankruptcy, those sorts of things. We're the ones actually fighting for their interests. People like Christian Smalls and others. And by the way, we're using a bit of shorthand. Christian Smalls is testifying in that video. There were a number of different labor activists involved or not involved specifically with the effort to unionize Amazon. I want to talk a bit though about why this was called. Now, Bernie Sanders was instrumental in getting this to actually happen. He's the head of the Senate Budget Committee. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to get the perspective of workers as they focus on the fact that right now the federal government, but by the way, we're gonna jump ahead to what they did after that testimony, but they're providing these contracts to companies that regularly, routinely break federal labor laws. Now, Amazon has racked up at this point more than $75 million in fines for violating federal discrimination and wage laws. That is a large amount of money in absolute terms. Obviously, for them, it's basically nothing because these fines are never in line with the severity of the crimes. Now, what's interesting though is last year, the company basically had to come to a settlement having to do with some of the activities they'd been getting up to. The issue was that right after they did that, right after, by the way, the testimony that you saw, more contracts were given to Amazon. And so we're gonna show you in a little bit, Joe Biden, who's gonna meet with these organizers and everything. And like the issue is coming out of this, Lindsey Graham looks like the bad guy because he's the one that's like yelling at them and getting all worked up and defending Amazon and everything. But at the same time, while the Democrats are the ones that are having them come in to testify, are they really on their side? Is Joe Biden, he's in speeches, he's indicated that he supports this unionization effort at Amazon. Every once in a while he'll mention it, but are you gonna see him there? Is he gonna go speak to the workers before a vote or something, JR? I sort of doubt that they're gonna give that really proactive support. Like letting them come in and testify is something, but that is hardly as far as they could go.
As you're pointing out, Democrats throughout history have decided to make sure that they only associate with folks like this when it comes to a time to look better. What are you gonna do to implement it? And the way that they can also prove that is, as Smalls pointed out there, it's not just Democrats, bro. Republicans work and they're regular working Americans too. If Democrats can find a way to actually listen to folks in different areas, not just what they think are their Democratic strongholds, because workers want workers' rights no matter where they vote. The reasons why Republicans have split folks so much is because they've also dealt to what many people's personal biases, maybe racial, gender-based, all these types of things, biases they have, and have them on their side. But you know what everyone wants? They want some prosperity. They want to be thanked and respected for their work. I don't care where you're from. And if they actually do it, they can actually attract people rather than just doing it as a photo op or, hey, Chris Smalls said something, let's make sure he's standing next to me and I can do this and roll up my sleeves and say I'm really working with the people and maybe you'll vote for me. People see through that. Smalls will see through that. They call people out no matter what party you're from because they want the respect and they want to get what they deserve. Let's keep real. These aren't handouts. This is what they're working for.
Exactly. Yeah, as he says, Amazon is a thing in some senses, but Amazon is the product of the workers. At the end of the day, until they finally replace everyone with robots, It's people who lift things up and put them in boxes and close it and put it on a truck and actually send it to you, let alone actually manufacturing the goods in the first place. It is all actual workers. Sure, Bezos or whatever billionaire in individual cases organizes it and stuff. And there's managers and everything, but at the end of the day, it is about the people that are doing the actual work. They have been ignored for the entirety of American history. And at some point, there was a brief moment, like 75 years ago, maybe like 90 years ago, where we briefly started to care about workers. And that's how we got things like the weekend and stuff like that. It is time for another period like that. We desperately need it. The pandemic was a reminder of how little corporations actually care about workers. And so let's get more people like Christian Smalls and other labor activists that we feature on the show out there. Let's get them the support they need, recognition by the media to elevate their message, by politicians, people like Bernie Sanders, by the way, who have a platform that know that when they ally themselves with a cause, that doesn't just provide a moral boost, like a morale boost, it provides coverage. He can bring that to it.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.